Okay, so one thing I often get asked is how do you cook rice while you're camping when there's no 240-volt electricity? So I'll show you how I do it. I mean, there's probably a few other different ways, but I think my way is probably the best. That's roughly about 1.5 cups of rice. And the most important thing about rice is you have to rinse it well. Rinse all that starch off, because the last thing you want is smelly rice. Okay, that's what we call it. Right. So we just gently rub the rice, loosen up all the starch. And then you can bring it in for a close up there. You see the rice, the water's starting to get quite milky. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is just pour this out. And we'll repeat the process 2 more times. Okie dokie, so it has been rinsed 3 times, and this is also the other very important part of the process, how much water to leave in there. Okay. And it also varies, depends on what sort of rice you're using. This rice we're using is jasmine rice. The brand is a pomelo brand. It's very popular within the Vietnamese community. And I find that this rice, it can be a bit more if you leave too much water. I prefer my rice like al dente and slightly dry, which might not be everyone's cup of tea, so experiment with yourself and then find out what's best for you. But okay, just bring it for a close up there. So that pot there, and it's roughly just half a finger notch, whereas most people, depending on the size of the pot, they use a whole finger notch there. Okay, and straight onto a gas stove. At this point in time, we roll it at a high heat until it goes to the boil, and it also helps if you've got a clear glass lid so you can see what's happening inside. Alright, we'll let that do its thing until it starts boiling, and I'll show you the next part of the process. Okay, so the next part of the process, I was saying that it helps to have a clear lid. Bring it for a close-up. You can see it's done to boil, slightly rolling, steaming up on the surface. At this point is when we reduce the heat to a bare minimal. Now we'll continue to let it do its thing. Don't quote me on how long. 1 beer's time, okay? Until the water's all evaporated, and it should be ready. So the water's all just about evaporated. This last part that I'm doing now is we call fluffing up the rice. So just bring a couple of chopsticks in there. Just give that a twirl. Yep, so it's going to put the lid back on, and we'll turn the heat off completely. And what it's going to do is it's going to cook in its residual heat and steam away for about another 10 minutes. It should be ready to eat. Okie dokie, so rice is just about ready. Bring it in for a close up there. As you can see, all the grains have expanded quite nicely. The rice is fluffy, not gluggy. And because the camera doesn't pick up smell, it doesn't smell like coffee, so it's not burnt. Right. Just give you a taste. Well, really, you know what rice tastes like, but as you see. And that is how you cook rice out camping.